Here's your whiteboard brief for Wednesday, April 8th. Our strength is a ton of core work today. We're going to go through 4 rounds of a reverse plank, which is a new movement for you guys, single leg V-ups, and kettlebell march. Today's Metcon consists of 3 different 4-minute AMRAPs with a 2-minute rest in between each AMRAP. The first couplet is 10 push press and 10 sumo deadlift high pull. The second couplet is 10 kettlebell swings and 10 up and downs. And then the last AMRAP is 10 Russian twist and 5 kettlebell head cutters. Our finisher today is a Tabata of hollow rocks.
Okay guys, for our strength today we have all core movements and we have 4 sets to do. So we're going to start with a reverse plank and you're going to hold that for 30 to 60 seconds. Next we have single leg V-ups and you have 10 of those on each side. The last movement is a kettlebell march, which you'll do for 60 seconds. We're going to run through that for 4 rounds and you're going to rest as needed in between. Will's going to demo the movements for us. He's going to give us prescribed versions first and then we'll give scaling options for you guys. So he's going to show us the reverse plank first. So this is a reverse plank because it's working the opposite side of a normal plank hold. So what he's doing is planting his heels into the ground. His hands are underneath his shoulders, and he's pressing his hips up towards the ceiling, squeezing his glutes and his core. For today, we're going to hold this for about 30 to 60 seconds. You can also drop down to your elbows, do the same thing, keep pressing the hips up towards the sky, squeezing the glutes. If that's too challenging, you guys can flip over and do a Superman hold. Okay, so he's going to go on his belly here. He's going to extend everything. He's going to reach out front, chest is off the ground, feet are off the ground, and once again, he's squeezing his backside here, okay? When we go through this, you're going to hold for 30 to 60 seconds. The next movement is a single leg V-up. 10 on each side today. You'll find that the single leg version is a little bit easier than both legs coming up on the V-up. Okay, so he's going to start with hands extended above his head, and he's going to knock out all 10 on one side before he switches to the other. So all he's doing is kind of meeting in the middle, crunching up. Okay? If that option's too hard for you, you can do tuck crunches. Okay? So hands are right behind him. He's going to extend his legs and lean back and then crunch in. Okay? For these, we have 10 on each side or 20 of these total. Okay, the last thing we're working with is a kettlebell march. If you don't have a kettlebell, grab any heavy object, put it in the front rack position. You can hug a sandbag, a bag of mulch, anything like that that's decently heavy. So he's going to show you some reps from the front and then from the side. So basically you're holding whatever object you have in the front rack or hugging it, and he's just marching in place. So he's keeping his foot in the flex position and he's raising his knee up without folding forward. Okay, so this is a huge core movement. He's fighting to stay nice and tall without letting that weight drag him down. For this, we're doing it for 60 seconds. So if you're starting on the right side, do that for 30 seconds and switch arms so you get even on both sides. Okay guys, our Metcon for today is 3 different 4-minute AMRAPs, okay? In between each AMRAP, we're gonna rest 2 minutes. We're gonna start with 10 push press and 10 sumo deadlift high pull in our first 4-minute AMRAP. So Will's going to demonstrate some good push presses for us. He's going to start with the dumbbells in the front rack position. His feet are about anywhere between hip width and shoulder width apart. He's going to think about driving his heels to the ground as he dips and drives. Okay, remember with a push press, it is a vertical dip, so he's not letting his chest drop forward. And as he dips down, his knees are driving down and out. So it's a small but aggressive dip and drive. Okay, once he's done with 10 of those, he's going to move to his kettlebell. If you guys don't have a kettlebell, you can do the same movement with just one dumbbell. And this is the sumo deadlift high pull. Okay, so he's going to get into a wider stance, wider than shoulder width apart. Toes are slightly pointed out. Remember, the first part of this movement is a sumo deadlift. So we still want to keep a nice flat back, shoulder blades engaged, okay? So he's focusing on driving the knees out. He's getting full hip extension before he starts that pull, and then he's landing with his elbows higher than the kettlebell each time. Okay, he's going to show you some from the side. This is not a squat, this is a deadlift, okay? So don't let your butt drop down too low, okay? That is the first AMRAP, okay? So you'll go back and forth doing 10 push press, 10 sumo deadlift high pull, going through those 2 minutes for 4 minutes. Then we'll rest 2 minutes and we'll move on to the second 4-minute AMRAP, which starts with 10 kettlebell swings. Depending on the weight that you guys have at home, these can be Russian or American. So if you're doing Russian, you're gonna go right up to about shoulder height. If you're doing American, you're gonna go all the way above head, landing with your arms next to your ears, okay? Remember at the top, try not to hyperextend your back. Keep the ribs tucked in, core nice and tight, okay? The second movement is an up-down. Okay, this is very similar to a burpee, except chest and thighs aren't going to the ground. So it's kind of like a plank burpee with no hop at the top. You're just standing up, okay? So these should be a lot quicker than your normal burpee. You'll do 10 of those, then you're going back to your 10 Russian or American kettlebell swings. Okay, we'll do that once again for 4 minutes. Then we're gonna rest another 2 minutes, and then we start our last 4-minute AMRAP, which is gonna start with 10 Russian twists, which is a core movement, okay? If you guys have a weight that you're comfortable using for the Russian twist, go ahead and do that. If you're doing prescribed, your heels are just gently floating off the ground. If that's a little bit too challenging, let the heels rest on the ground. You can do body weight, really just working on getting a ton of rotation here, okay? That'll be 10 total. And then we have 5 kettlebell head cutters. So this is a complex movement, okay? It's got a few different things going on. Will's gonna start in like a deadlift stance. So he's gonna start by cleaning or deadlifting high pull the kettlebell up to chest height. He's gonna squat and then press above head. Then he goes back down to the ground and does it again. So high pull, squat, and press. Let's do one more. High pull, squat, and press. Okay, you have 5 of those at a time. So you'll go back and forth between those 2 movements for 4 minutes, okay? That's our last AMRAP, so you're done with the mech. Extra credit for today is gonna be a Tabata of hollow rock. So remember guys, Tabata simply means you're working for 4 minutes. Within that 4 minutes, you have 8 working sets of 20 seconds, 10 seconds of rest in between each set. So Will's gonna show us a prescribed hollow rock to start. So the easiest way to find that hollow position where the small of your back is flat into the ground is bring your legs up to 90, okay? So when you bring your legs up to that 90-degree angle, that automatically should push your back into the ground. From here, if you're gonna do prescribed, you're extending your arms and legs, okay? But see how close his feet are to the ground? They're not way up here, okay? Now he's gonna gently rock back and forth, keeping his shoulders off the ground and not letting his heels touch. This should be a very tight and controlled movement. Show me one that's a little bit too big. Okay, your hollow rock should not look that big, okay guys? So think smaller and controlled and very tight movement, okay? Scaling options for this would be 1 leg out, 1 leg in. Okay, this allows you to have a little bit more control over this. Arms can be forward, you can try arms behind your head. It really just depends on what level you guys are at. Third scaling option is either bringing your legs into a 90-degree angle and keeping your arms out or gently hugging them, okay? So once again, whatever you can control through that rock, and we're gonna be doing this Tabata style today.